Greetings, friends. I'm Jeffrey Sachs, University Professor at Columbia University. We are at the end of a very unusual 200 years of global economic history in which the North Atlantic region, by that I mean Europe and the United States primarily, dominated the world economy, and in which Asia's role in the world economy fell precipitously, even though Asia remained home to well over half of the world's population. These are estimates of the share of global output in the North Atlantic region. That is the top line that rises to reach a peak around the middle of the 20th century, and the Asia share of world output, which starts out at about 60% of world output in 1820, but then falls to around 20% of world output by the end of World War II. As we know, is that the share of Asia in the world economy has been rising steadily for the last 70 years since the end of World War II and the founding of the People's Republic and the rapid growth, especially of East Asia. And the share of the world economy in the North Atlantic region has been diminishing. Now we are in a very different era, and Asia's growth, China's strong economy, and the diffusion of technology has changed all. We know in particular, if we measure gross output at purchasing power prices or at international prices, China is now the larger economy compared with the United States, not in per capita terms, where China is still roughly 1/3 of the US in per capita GDP measured in international prices, but in absolute size of the economy and in rate of growth. China is obviously now the largest economy in the world. Now, the geopolitics are changing, of course, because of this. The idea of a North Atlantic-led world or a US-led world is passé. But I think it's important to note that we have at least 6 fundamental drivers of global change. The first is geopolitics, led by geoeconomics. The second is the global environmental crisis, climate change, pollution, loss of biodiversity, which affects the whole world. The third is the enormous demographic changes underway. A fourth is rising social demands everywhere for fairness and inclusion. In China, the concept is common prosperity, but we need the idea of social inclusion everywhere. It is the great ethical demand of our age. The fifth fundamental driver is the digitalization of society, smart machines, artificial intelligence, digital connectivity. This is transforming every sector of the economy and every aspect of our lives. And the last point I would emphasize is the quest for well-being, because as societies get richer, they find out that GDP per person hardly defines what is well-being in a society. So there is a new quest for the quality of life. We now face major institutional choices to get the world system to work properly because we're so interconnected. There is no single dominant country. The United States is no longer the world dominant country, nor should it aim to be. No single country should dominate the world. We need a global system, and that will be key for global peace as well. There are several areas where global cooperation is needed. To end global poverty, China has shown how this can be done remarkably in 2 generations in China, from pervasive poverty to the end of poverty by 2020. Global cooperation to protect the planet. Global cooperation to cut down on inequality, stopping tax havens, illicit global activities, evasion of responsibilities. We need cooperation, not hegemony. We need nuclear disarmament to move forward. We do need cooperation on digital technologies for protecting privacy, for avoiding cyber warfare. We definitely need strong cooperation on climate change. And we need the United States and China to say to the rest of the world that as the two largest powers of the world today, both stand strongly in favor of the UN Charter and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and aim fully to cooperate within those universal frameworks. So this, I think, is the point that I want to emphasize. We are in a new geopolitical age, a post-American age, but this doesn't mean a new hegemon. It means global cooperation. It means reinforcing multilateralism. Thank you.